here I am in Hawaii. Just to bring you up to speed, my name is Barrett. I am from here originally, moved around the US, and then I was living in Japan for an extended period of time. And I just moved back here. This is, just a collection of things that I've noticed since I've come back and while it's still fresh on my mind. One, it is way more casual here. And yeah, I know that, but service is also very casual. For example, I flew Hawaiian Airlines coming back, and when it was mealtime, the flight attendant came around and gave us a tray and said, "Here's your dinner or snack or whatever you want to call it." And it's like, why would you say whatever you want to call it? But to be fair, the Hawaiian Airlines meal is kind of a whatever you want to call it because there's like empty spaces on the tray. Like if you fly JAL or ANA or one of those airlines, like your tray is full of food and desserts and salads and stuff. So it is kind of a snack or whatever you want to call it. But another thing that I heard was a flight attendant, when she was picking up the trays after the meal service, she's like, "You don't want your cookie? This is the best part." And she's kind of joking around. As someone from Hawaii, I completely am okay with that. It's something that I'm used to. It's very casual and friendly, and I'm fine with it. But I also understand why people may not like it because it's not like they're being treated as a customer, and who are the staff to question what someone chooses to eat and not eat. But again, I'm from Hawaii, and I think the other person was too, so I think we're both okay with that. The thing that I like about it is that it's just more friendly. There's more of a human to human interaction, where in Japan, they do the service well. They treat you like the customer that you are, but it's also very stiff. For example, when I was getting ready to move here, I was closing my bank account at UFJ, and I brought my ID, I brought my hanko, which is like the stamp to kind of, it's like a signature stamp. I brought my debit card, my ATM card, and my original papers with all my contract information on there. And they still couldn't close my account. Why? Because I didn't bring my paper book that you put in the ATM whenever you want your transactions printed out. She couldn't close the account just because I didn't have this silly book. And because it's more of a stiff service in Japan, you don't really get that human to human feel. There's no empathy involved. It's just like, this is the rules and this is how I do my job and this is what you need. I can't close your account. And for me, it's like, you do realize how stupid this is, right? But that's just the difference. Speaking of banking, the app ecosystem and the usage of apps here are just way more robust and just overall a lot better, especially with banking. For example, with a different bank that I have in Japan, you need an app to log in, of course, but you need a separate app to be able to send money. And then you need a completely different login if you're logging in on their website. Like none of these things are connected. And in Japan, a lot of companies do have apps, but their functions are just overall very limited. For example, there's Hakuyosha, which is a dry cleaning service. They have an app and you can register and have your account number and points and everything like that. But you can't use it for any transactions. You can't show them your account on the app and have the staff take your order and give you your dry cleaning back. You need to have the paper receipt. So overall, even though I just got here, I'm already realizing that doing anything with apps and online is a lot easier here in the US. Things are built out, systems are connected. It is a lot better and a lot smoother. But I guess that's just what happens in Japan when you outsource anything to do with digital and their engineers get paid like 40,000 bucks a year. Three, of course, elephant in the room, masks. I'm definitely paying attention to the difference. In Japan, when I was there, it was starting to change. Less and less people were wearing masks, but it was still like almost everybody, including outdoors. Here, it's maybe 20% or so, give or take. It depends on the time of day and where you are. Like Costco is going to be different from a restaurant, of course, things like that. But I'm definitely noticing that there is a difference. Obviously, I see more faces out in public. Next, and this is something that I'm really feeling quite a bit right now, is the high costs. Now, I know everything is very much inflated and has gotten this way over the past year or so, but there's also the issue of the plummeting yen. Now, me working for the past several years in Japan, I get paid in yen. So most of my money right now is in yen, and the buying power that I have here is very low. For example, I went to a bar and the beers were $9 each, And so 2 beers, 18 bucks plus tax and tip, maybe 23 to $24. But in yen, it comes out to over 3,300 yen. So in my mind, it feels like I'm paying 33 or $34 for 2 beers. And then obviously tipping, not used to that, so I got to get readjusted to tipping. Another thing that I noticed, and I don't think this is widespread because I only noticed it here, but it was at Macy's, the department store, and not all the items had price tags on them. In fact, some of them didn't. It would say to check on the app to find out the current price online. I'm like, we are in the store within 20 feet of the register and you are not going to provide the information about the price? Like, why do I need to go through an extra step to find out the price? Like, it should already be there for me to see so I can make a quick decision whether or not I want to purchase it. Doesn't make sense. And overall, the Macy's experience, like the lighting, I feel like it was darker and more dim and just more disheveled than I remember it being. I guess that's just the state of department stores these days, right? One thing that I notice and like here is that it's a lot more dog friendly. Like, we don't see dogs tied up outside. I see dogs in the banks. I see dogs in cafes and drugstores. And, it's just a lot more accommodating, or at least it seems a lot more accommodating for people to have dogs. And compared to Japan, because of the space issue, I'm thinking there's like real dogs here, like decently sized, like Labradors and Goldens and whatnot. And so that's caught my attention. Another thing that I've noticed recently, partly because I've been watching a lot of TV due to my driver's license expiring, which is a challenge. I'll be talking about this in my next video, the challenges that I've been facing moving from Japan to the US, international life and all of that. I've been watching a lot of TV and I noticed that especially here, cable TV is gone. It is dead. We don't have YouTube TV in Japan, so I didn't know that you could have basically cable TV through YouTube TV. And then every service has streaming, right? You got Peacock, you have Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, of course, the Paramount one, I forget the name. But yeah, like everything is streaming here. And although there are streaming apps in Japan, it's not to the level that it is here. Sadly, what I've noticed, and I already knew this, but I'm really feeling it now, is that the fruits not as good. Like, I'm sorry to say, like, I did have a really good mango. It was like the small round yellow mango that was super sweet, and of course pineapples are good, but like things like grapes, like, sorry guys, like, you're not really eating good grapes here in the US. That's just the truth. And then like melons, like we got cantaloupe, I think it was cantaloupe at Costco. Like, it's okay, but I just came from Hokkaido and that was just like way juicy and way sweeter. So I'm feeling the lack of quality fruits here, unfortunately. If you're from Hawaii and watching this, just let me know where the best fruits are. I would love to know where I can get some really sweet fruits because I'm missing that. Another everyday thing that I noticed is trash. It's a lot easier and convenient here than it was in Japan. Japan is very tedious. It was probably better, but it's less convenient. I was used to separating labels from plastic bottles, put the glass bottles here, put the burnable trash here. Everything is very much separate, but over here it more or less goes into one bin. There are 3 big bins that we put out. One is for just the regular trash, one is for yard waste, and one is for recyclables. And everything that's recyclable goes into one container rather than like 4 or 5 different containers, which is different. And then it's easier to get rid of bigger items, like to donate. They have like a pickup that comes once a month or something, I believe. We did that the other day, and for that amount in Japan, it would probably cost us like $100 or something to have someone to pick up and donate or recycle that. So a lot easier, a lot more convenient than Japan. And then I'm just surprised and kind of delighted about how Japanese style toilets have kind of caught on, or at least been more relevant in popular culture here than it was before. I kind of already knew this because I know that there are at least a couple brands that sell attachment seats, and you hook it up to the pipe and it gives you like a bidet. But I saw Toto cover seats being sold in Costco even. My parents have one, and like I watched This Is Us, my favorite drama, but This Is Us, Kevin in that show says something about getting Japanese style toilets so that he doesn't have to wipe as much or something like that. But I'm super happy because having the bidet or Japanese style bidet at least is something that is kind of hard to not have here. You just don't feel as clean, right? Like I had a teacher one time in college, and she's like, if you step in, dog shit, do you get paper towels and napkins and wipe it off, or do you go for the hose? And like everybody's like, go for the hose. Why aren't we doing that then? But yeah, it seems to be catching on, so really happy about that. And the last thing, it's something that I think my wife noticed, is that your social security number here is very important. Like it actually has meaning. Like you can't really do things like open up a bank account or, get your license or anything like that without it. A few years back, Japan started their own version of social security number, which is my number. And till this day, it has almost no meaning at all. Like there is nothing in the government systems or in anything that's like tied together on the back end. So some places will even say like, we don't take my number, or please don't even show it to us. And so it's a lot easier, I guess, here because you just have that, and that's kind of like your ID and your verification. And you can do a lot of things with it, whereas we have this special number in Japan, but you can't do anything with it. And then what's also odd is that when we're leaving, the government actually canceled my number card. So it's odd. Like we have this card, but then it's like deactivated. I don't know. It's just weird system. But yeah, these are just some things that I have been noticing as I get used to being here in Hawaii again. I'm still like very new, so there's a lot of things that I haven't really realized or thought about yet, I'm sure. But I just want to share several things that have caught my attention since coming back. It's been a little bit rough. A lot of issues that we're having. Really, like nothing is set up for people to live an international life. So I'm going to be talking about these challenges that I've been having in my next video. So if you are in Japan or thinking about moving back or moving abroad, you might want to tune into that. I'm just going to share my personal experiences that I've had or have been having, still am having this long into it in my next video. So please be sure to tune into that. But otherwise, thank you for tuning in and watching. And it's nice to be able to talk to you after a little bit of a hiatus. Hope to see you in the next one. Laters.